Friends, Namaskar and good evening. Welcome to this weekly briefing in the virtual format. I will start with a small announcement in the form of an update on the Vande Bharat mission, and then we'll go on to your questions. The Vande Bharat mission, as on 2nd of September, has already repatriated almost 13 lakh Indians through different modes. These modes are Air India, private and foreign carriers, chartered flights, naval ships, and land border crossings. The phase 6 of this mission has been operational from the 1st of September, and in this phase 1007 international flights from 24 countries have been scheduled to operate during this month. They are expected to repatriate over 2 lakh people. Bilateral travel arrangements in the form of the travel air bubble flight operations from 11 countries form the bulk of this phase. Similar arrangements are being negotiated with more countries by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. As always, this ministry continues to closely monitor the demand for repatriation and travel to India from different countries through our missions and posts, and is working with the airlines to ensure assistance. Now we'll move on to your questions, and I'll request Yatin to take over.
So first question is from Akhilesh Human from Rajya Sabha TV. He has asked, there are reports that India-Bangladesh inland waterway is to be operational soon. Can we have more detail, please?
Akhilesh ji, by way of background, you would know that we have a protocol for inland water trade and transit between India and Bangladesh, and this protocol was signed in 1972. It provides for inland water connectivity, it enhances bilateral trade between the two countries, and also connectivity to the northeastern region of India. Now, under this protocol in 2019-20, about 3.5 million metric ton of cargo was transported between India and Bangladesh through various protocol routes, and there have been about 8 routes so far. With the signing of the second addendum to this protocol, we have added 2 more routes. So the number of routes have gone up from 8 to 10. And of particular significance is the Sonamura-Daukandi route, which it is significant because it connects Tripura to the national waterways of India through Bangladesh for the first time. And a trial run has commenced from Daukandi and would conclude at Sonamura on the 5th of September, and it would conclude in the presence of the Honorable Chief Minister of Tripura. Our High Commissioner in Bangladesh will also be joining this event. So this is yet another recent connectivity initiative with Bangladesh. You would recall that a few weeks back we successfully completed the trial run of container cargo from Kolkata to Agartala through the Chattogram port. So this initiative will greatly boost our connectivity with the northeastern region and also boost bilateral trade with Bangladesh. Enhanced connectivity through such inland waterways, particularly in this COVID-19 scenario, is significant because it provides for economical, faster, safer and cleaner mode of transportation for traders and business communities from both sides. So this is in the form of some details of this initiative.
Shankar Kumar from India versus Disinformation has asked, how many bilateral meetings Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will have during his visit to Moscow to attend SCO meet? Will he meet his Chinese counterpart on the sidelines of the meeting?
See, as you would know, RM is visiting Moscow for the SCO Defence Ministers meeting, and during his visit he will be meeting with the Russian Defence Minister to discuss bilateral issues of interest. As far as the other meeting that you mentioned, as of now I have no information on that.
Next set of questions are on vaccine cooperation. Elizabeth from Live Mint has asked, is there anything you can share on cooperation between India and Bangladesh on COVID-19 vaccine? Huma Siddiqui from Financial Express has asked, Beximco Pharmaceutical Limited has tied up with Serum Institute of India to produce COVID-19 vaccine, while the Chinese have only been allowed to conduct trials but are yet to enter into any commercial agreements with local firms. Can we see this as an outcome of Foreign Secretary's visit to Dhaka?
I had mentioned that the COVID-19 vaccine was discussed during Foreign Secretary's visit to Dhaka, and we had assured Bangladesh that as a close neighbor, as a strategic partner, they would be given high priority in supply of these vaccines once they are ready. And regarding the tie-up that you talk of, we are glad to note that private enterprises from both sides are working in this direction to take this ahead.
Next set of questions are on EM's participation at SCO conference. Neeraj Kumar from News 18 India has asked, क्या 10 सितंबर को SCO की मॉस्को में होने वाली बैठक में विदेश मंत्री एस जयशंकर हिस्सा लेंगे? क्या चीन के विदेश मंत्री से सीमा विवाद पर भी बातचीत होगी? Sridhar from Asian Age has asked, can you give us details on EM Jaishankar's forthcoming visit to Moscow for the SCO Foreign Minister Conference? Himanshu Mishra from Amar Ujala has asked, क्या रूस में होने वाली शंघाई सहयोग संगठन की विदेश मंत्रियों की बैठक में विदेश मंत्री श्री एस जयशंकर अपने चीनी समकक्ष के साथ अलग से बातचीत करेंगे? क्या विदेश एससीओ SCO की बैठक में शिरकत करेंगे? Similar questions have been asked by Siddhant from WION, Shrinjoy from Times Now, Maha from CNN News 18, Devi Rupa from The Wire.
EM will be visiting Moscow to attend the SCO Council of Foreign Ministers meeting, and this meeting is scheduled on the 10th of September. As regards the meetings that you are asking about, once his engagements are finalized, we will let you know.
Madhurendra from News Nation has asked, नेपाल के साथ जारी सीमा विवाद के समाधान के लिए भारत क्या कर रहा है? इस फ्रंट पर नेपाल की सरकार के साथ कोई डेवलपमेंट हो तो बताएं।
मधुरेंद्र जी, सीमा मामले पे हमारी क्या पोजीशन है, मैंने इसको स्पष्ट किया था कुछ हफ्तों पहले, और इस पे फिलहाल और कोई चेंज नहीं है, तो मैं और कुछ कहना नहीं चाहूँगा।
सिद्धांत फ्रॉम वियोन हैज आस्क्ड, इज स्क्वाड मीट बीइंग प्लान्ड इन दिल्ली? रंजीत कुमार फ्रॉम रक्षक न्यूज हैज आस्क्ड, is India hosting quadrilateral group ministerial meeting next month?
Yes, we look forward to holding the quad meeting later this year, and details are being worked out.
Madhurendra from News Nation has asked, चीन ने भारत में अपने ऐप बैन का विरोध किया है और इस बैन को अवैध कह रहा है। भारत की क्या प्रतिक्रिया है? सिद्धांत from WION has asked, has Chinese side taken up the issue of app ban with the Indian authorities, and what is our reaction to that? Similar question has also been asked by Narendra Nath from Navbharat Times.
As conveyed in my response, it was on July 2nd, that India has one of the most open regimes for FDI in the world, and this includes for internet companies as well as for digital technology companies. Now, digital technology companies, while operating here, they have the responsibility to abide by the rules and regulations issued by relevant ministries and departments of the Government of India, and particularly those rules and regulations which pertain to data security and privacy of data. So you would have seen the announcement by METI yesterday, where they have said that the activities that these apps have engaged in are prejudicial to the sovereignty and integrity of India, defense of India, to the security of state and public order. So what I can say is that we remain open. We continue to welcome foreign direct investment in the country, including in the area of internet technology. And however, what we would like to say is companies, when they operate here, they have to operate in accordance with the regulatory framework of the Government of India.
Madhurendra from News Nation has asked, भगोड़े जाकिर नायक के मामले में कोई अपडेट हो तो अवगत कराएं।
मधुरेंद्र जी, जाकिर नायक के मामले में फिलहाल कोई अपडेट नहीं है।
Madhurendra has asked again that कुलभूषण जाधव मसले में भारत ने क्या कदम उठाया, इस केस में क्या डेवलपमेंट है? Kadamini from NDTV India has asked, any update on Kulbhushan Jadhav case, lawyer and consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav?
See, we are in touch with Pakistan through diplomatic channels on this matter, and the Government of India is taking all possible steps to ensure the safety of Sri Kulbhushan Jadhav.
Manash from PTI has asked, has India finalized the dates for hosting the next edition of 2+2 dialogue with US? If so, can you share it? Will the US delegation visit India or will it be a virtual meeting?
We look forward to holding this 2+2 meeting. The details, including the timing of this meeting, are being worked out.
Shrinjoy from Times Now has asked, Pakistan recently wanted Indians to be proscribed by the UNSC. What is the current situation? Similar question has also been asked by Deepak Ranjan from PTI Bhasha.
See, there was a proposal from Pakistan to add 2 Indians to this 1267 ISIS and Al Qaeda sanctions list. This was objected to by some council members, and thereafter the Secretariat blocked this proposal from Pakistan and issued a notification. So, what has happened with this is Pakistan's attempt to list all 4 Indian nationals in this 1267 sanctions list has failed. You may also have seen the tweet from our permanent mission in New York thanking the council members for blocking this blatant attempt by Pakistan to politicize the working of this 1267 procedure by giving it a religious color.
Suman Sharma has asked, given that both UAE and Israel have cordial relations with India, in what way and in which sector can India provide assistance to both in strengthening their newly formed relationship? Has Israel or UAE approached India for any kind of help?
Suman, you would have seen our statement welcoming the full normalization of relations between UAE and Israel. Now, both countries are our strategic partners, and we work closely with them in several areas. We work with with both of them, and as far as opportunities for cooperation in projects of common interest, we will be happy to work with them.
Next set of question is on LSE. Neeraj Kumar from News 18 India has asked, भारत चीन सीमा पर ताज़ा विवाद के बाद अभी क्या स्थिति है? सैन्य बातचीत के अलावा कूटनीतिक स्तर पर कोई बातचीत प्रस्तावित है? Sridhar from Asian Age has asked, is the de-escalation process with China in the Ladakh sector as good as dead given China's latest military provocation? Does India believe the process will get any result now? Venkat Narayan has asked, India and China have been talking about withdrawal and disengagement of troops from the border. Is there any plan on the table to settle the border issue for good and to restore normalcy? Srinjoy from Times Now has asked, China says India crossed the LAC. It's a reference to India's precautionary deployment. What is the situation in the North Bank and Depsang? Maha from CNN News 18 has asked, what did the Chinese side tell MEA when the matter of 31st August attempted ingression in Chushul sector was taken up? Devi Rupa from Wire has asked, there have been several rounds of talks at brigade commander level following the August 29-30 intrusion by China, but this have not been fruitful. Are they going to higher level diplomatic talks, possible phone call between NSS and foreign ministers? Sanjeev Trivedi from News 24 has asked, attempts by Chinese to alter the LSE are now taking place even as the military and diplomatic talks are on. Will it be proper to conclude that even the talks, instead of diffusing the tension, have become a part of Chinese combat strategy? Vijay Lakshmi from India TV has asked, LAC पर मौजूदा हालात को लेकर चीन की तरफ से बार बार यही कहा जा रहा है कि भारत की तरफ से नियमों का उल्लंघन हुआ. इस पर विदेश मंत्रालय का क्या कहना है? Kamaljeet from India Today has asked, where do things stand as of now between India and China on Ladakh? Has previous engagements resulted in any dividends? And what measures are in place to resolve current crisis? How many points are there on escalation on currently? Elizabeth from Live Mint has asked, after the fresh tensions with China over the weekend, are there any diplomatic talks planned with China? Is EM likely to meet Chinese foreign minister for a bilateral next week? Similar questions have been asked by Siddhant from Vion, Kadambani from NDTV India, Madhurendra from News Nation, Manash from PTI, Nainima from Print, Devdeep from Sankei, Shailendra from News 18, Naz Asgar from India News Stream, and Anish from UNI.
See, in my statement of 1st of September, I had clearly articulated the government's position on the developments post the attempt by Chinese troops to unilaterally change the status quo in the south bank of Pangong Lake on the night of August 29th and early morning of August 30th. I am not going to go over the Chinese actions that caused the recent escalation. I can say that the ground commanders are still holding discussions to resolve the situation. We reiterate the consensus reached between the two foreign ministers and special representatives that the situation in the border should be handled in a responsible manner and either side should not take any provocative action or escalate matters. It is clear that the situation we witness over the past 4 months is a direct result of the actions taken by the Chinese side that sought to effect unilateral change of status quo. These actions resulted in violation of the bilateral agreements and protocol, which ensured peace and tranquility in the border areas for close to 3 decades. Now, the way ahead is negotiations, both through the diplomatic and military channels. The Indian side is firmly committed to resolving all outstanding issues through peaceful dialogue. We therefore strongly urge the Chinese side to sincerely engage the Indian side with the objective of expeditiously restoring the peace and tranquility in the border areas through complete disengagement and de-escalation in accordance with the bilateral agreements and protocols. Any further questions, Yatan?
No, sir.
Thank you. So this concludes the weekly briefing.